For those of you who are Hudson Valley Community College students, you can access the link to our safety document here, and please do so.
Let's talk about a common sense approach to safety. That's what we practice here in the laboratory. Many of these machines can induce large forces, or they're rotating, or both, and it's important that we are aware of that so that there's no chance that you're going to get hurt. And that will happen if you keep safety in mind. The obvious things are safety glasses at all times in the lab, remove your jewelry, short sleeve shirts, sensible shoes. Even the sneakers I'm wearing are not really good enough for some of the work around here. Leather shoes are the best. Certainly nothing open-toed, nothing loose-fitted that can get tangled up in the machinery. Most of the machinery here has some safety devices built in. The stops are clearly marked. You can see this has a nice big red button, and all you have to do is hit it like that, and off it goes. On-off switches are clearly labeled. Many of the pieces of equipment are tied to circuit breaker boxes. Here's an example here for the grinder. Not only do we have the off switch, but we have the power right behind it as well, which you see we keep locked when not in use. But if you're using it and something really goes bad here, you can just reach around and cut power here as well. So familiarize yourself with the off switches on all the machines so you know where they are. Back over here, many of the pieces of equipment have things like lights so you can see the work. Use them. That's what they're there for. Machines are cleaned after usage. We have vacuum cleaners, we have brooms. They should be largely swept up, cleared, and ready to go for the next person. A job is not done until the next person is ready to use it. We have sinks, we have an eye sink, and those are there if things get on us that they shouldn't. We also have gloves for some of the penetrant oils that we use, etc. So common sense will get you through. So familiarize yourself with the equipment. There's a rather long list. You have that file, read it over. Make sure you know where all the stops are and all the power and controls are, and familiarize yourself. Equipment is not to be used unless there is instructor or technician supervision. You're not allowed to come in the lab on your own and use the equipment without any of us here. That's a safety violation. But keep those common sense rules and you're going to work out very, very well. The ovens are used in several experiments in the 4 semesters that you'll be with us, and they are worth a little video time to describe for you. These do get very, very warm. They are capable of producing temperatures to melt steel, so they can get up to 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit without too much trouble. There are several safety procedures that need to be in place when you use these ovens. Now, these ovens are cold now, and you know that because you can see the controls are off. You can see the temperature gauge for the top oven is down to 0. And we'll have another video explaining how these ovens work, but we can see that they are off. There is an emergency off here for the gray oven at least. But when you use these ovens, you need to be wearing thermal resistant gloves. These are not entirely fireproof. We should not treat them as such. We never stick our hands in the hot oven. That's a no-no. And if we catch you doing it, you're going to be in trouble. But you still have the gloves on, and you use an appropriate pair of tongs. And we have several variety for both round samples. This is for flats. Here's one that can handle rounds. You can see I can pick it up very easily that way. and we use an appropriate pair of tongs. It is not fashionable, and we don't really care, but we wear a safety mask over our face. We have the gloves on. And lastly, we wear a leather apron. And there's 3 of these available, and these just strap around and go. There's not much to them, but all those will be done when we use these ovens. Our hands never go in the ovens. Samples are placed using the tongs. We move quickly from the ovens to the quenching sink if we need to put quench. We also have an oil that's over in the corner, and we move quickly from there. Or we can set hot samples here on the table on this block only, and we have signs to hang, the hot signs to let people know that the steel here on the table is hot. So as long as you follow those procedures, mask, gloves, apron, tongs, hands never in the oven. Do that, you're good to go. The vacuum form machine is one of our newer pieces of equipment here in the lab. And what we do with it is we can build a mold. You can see here's one here. This was hogged out on a CNC mill, and then you put a sheet of plastic over the top. When you're done, you pull the mold into the heated plastic, and you can create, in this case, a car body for the senior car project. And here's an earlier attempt that didn't work as well. Our students had some experimental to do, but kind of interesting that this stuff, we have that capability here in the lab. However, in using this equipment, a lot of heat's involved. There's this heating element up top here. Let me bring down the piece and show you the heating element here. When we're using this, we again just need to be careful about the heat. So our hands only go on the controls and in the indicated places. We're not sitting our hands up top here. You're going to get a little too warm. So again, just some sensible precautions. And again, our safety shield's still on. Ditto with the mounting presses. We use these to mount samples so we can mount them in the scanning electron microscope. These metal pieces get very, very hot. So fingers here, and for the tops that screw down, keep your hands on the grips. Avoid the metal, because these get to 150 degrees centigrade, and that's enough to burn skin. So as long as you're cautious, these are perfectly safe to use, but you just need to be aware of the fact that there are hot areas that need to be avoided.